What's going on, doggy boy? What's going on, my brother? Late night work session. I hope y'all don't mind the shirt off, but it's kind of hot up in this motherfucker. One of them 100-degree days. 100-degree days. Pardon the shirtlessness. Cut on this window unit. Monk mode. Monk mode. I put myself on 6 months of monk mode starting June 1st. I was in a relationship with this chick. This bitch was demon possessed, man. It was about a 6-month relationship. I had to get out of that shit. And after I got out of it, I was like, yo, I need to, what's going on, ducking. Yeah, but after I finished that relationship, I was like, yo, I need to reset. I need to refocus. You know, it's like I wasted 6 months of my life fucking with this chick. You know, and it could have went south. Could have went bad, real bad. If I wasn't as connected to the source, to universe. You know, I was very aware of the things that she was doing, even though, you know, I didn't necessarily have concrete evidence. And, you know, and her telling me she was gonna change and all kind of shit. Man, the fucking universe steered me away from a lot of shit dealing with that chick. But anyway, after I got rid of her ass, I said, okay, I wasted 6 months and it was my fault. What's going on, yeah? So, you know, when I look back on the last 6 months and I say, yo, I wasted fucking 6 months of my life fooling with this chick. So I'm gonna give the next 6 months to myself. I got rid of her ass, May 30th, May 31st, something like that. January 1st, shit, I was in my monk mode. I said, fuck it. You know, nothing to lose. 6 months focusing on me, not 6 months trying to make a relationship work. You know, bending over backwards for another motherfucker. You know, how can you love somebody who don't even love their self? And then I had to look at myself and say, well, damn, do I even love myself? Do I love myself enough to quit fucking with this chick? And do I love myself enough to impose 6 months of solitude on my own self for my own good? You're fucking right. Hey, it's all good. Yeah. Shit, everything happened for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. Not only does everything happen for a reason, but the way I look at it, as far as I'm concerned, everything happens to me for a good reason. You know, because I don't care what the situation is. Even if it looks bad on the outside, I'm flipping that shit. I'm an alchemist. I take one object and I can transform it into another object. I can take a feeling of hatred and turn it into a feeling of love. That's what a true alchemist does. You know, when you hear of talks of alchemists, it wasn't trying to turn base metals into gold. That was code. The true alchemist could change his mindset. And when you change your mindset on something, you change the whole course of nature. It's like a quantum jump. It's like the difference between choosing not to cross the street, where you could have, been hit by a car, or not crossing the street, where you keep walking and live a happy life. So I'm very thankful and grateful for all the shit, the good and the bad. Shit, it's the fucking bad that built me to the motherfucker I am now, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't be the motherfucker I am now if it wasn't for the bad. Word. Yeah, what's good with you? Where you from? Make sure like and subscribe. Let me put my little banners up. Boom, baga daga daga daga, boom boom. Boom. Oh, let me change that. This is day 38. Let me change that boy. Change that boy. Let me stop the scroll. Let me stop the scroll. Let me change 38 days. Self-imposed monk mode. Bim. Bim. There we go. Fine. There we go. Now we're good to go. I got my tea. I'm getting ready to get into some automation using artificial intelligence, combining different apps together to make automations. So, say for instance, if you're a business owner and you have sales or you have calls that come in and these are potential leads that you need to follow up on, you can design an AI system that will take those calls. Not only will they take the calls, but you can design systems that will talk back to your customer just like you would. Matter of fact, you can train these systems on your own voice, your tone, how you talk, your mannerisms. You can program all of that into an artificial intelligent agent. And it's basically like time multiplying. If you can cut time out of your day, you just saved yourself some time. You can do more of what you want to do. It's a big shift coming. Big shift. AI. What side of the wall you gonna be on? This is the wall right here. This is the wall being built by AI On this side of the wall, there's going to be people who are being used by AI, and then on this side of the wall, you're going to have people who are using AI. Now, the wall is still being built, so it's still time. If you're on this side of the wall, there's still time for you to get over to the other side before the wall gets built and it's too high for you to jump over. I'm trying to sound out the alarm to everybody. You know, something like a prophet. I'm trying to tell y'all, I see this shit coming. I see it. I see it. But yeah, man, it's time to get to work. Cut some of these lights down. Put on some music. Put on some of my get going, get started music. Yo, I got some binaural shit that would fucking damn near make me get up out my seat. Start rapping like I'm deep. Blackity blickety black black blickety. Stickity stickity stacks stacks stickity. Stickity bop. Damn, it's hot. Is that motherfucker even on? Why can't I feel that? I think that's still a little too bright. A little too bright. Hey y'all, I ain't trying to flex on y'all or nothing. It's just hot up in here. It's one of them hot days. I just came in. So I think I'm trying to be one of them pretty boys or nothing. Trying to show off my little bird chest. I'm just trying to cool the fuck off. Just trying to cool the fuck off, man. That's all I'm trying to do. Trying to cool the fuck off, dude. What the fuck? Get into my automations. Let me comb my beard first. Whew, man. Charge. There we go. Bomba clap.
Outrageous. Also, do not follow him after such an act. This is why you do not road rage with random people. This man is about to do something truly outrageous. Also, do not follow him after such an
Young Pants.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features.
It don't even feel like the fucking AC is working.
First on the list, Section Grid. I'm talking about a revolutionary tool that lets you create your own intricate layouts, but still keeps it intuitive at every step. So you can split cells, create gaps between them, drag to resize, and swap them around. Alright, this next feature has saved me hours of work. Responsive.
Alright, so there's some pretty cool developments today. This was announced by LM6. These are the people behind the Chatbot Arena. That's where we take all these large language models and we pit them against each other to see which one survives, because they're competing. But there's a twist, there's a new approach. And that new approach is Route LLM, an open source framework for cost routing. There's a whole paper that dives into what this thing is and why it's good, but even cooler, there's the code. It's open source. You can install it and play with it on your local machine. The reason this is a big deal is because as we build out more complex frameworks for these AI systems or AI agents, to scale up how many different LLM systems you use, how many agents you use, having one be the output, having one be the judge search, for example, and then maybe adding some sort of an agent that kind of reflects on the output of the other one in order to improve it. All those things tend to work really well for improving the overall quality of the output, whether that's text or code. We've covered things like autogenic chat dev on this channel, where basically you can take GPT-3 Turbo, create multiple agents, all of them kind of work together. There's supervisors, there's coders and designers and bug testers. So I think there's something like a dozen of them kind of like all working in their own individual roles. And the code that it spits out is really good, closer to something that GPT-4 would produce. To the point that the architecture of how we string these models together can play a big role in how effective they are and how good they are, what they're able to accomplish. I was able to produce games for something like 5 cents per game using the GPT 3.5 model in ChatDev. The same thing using GPT-4 would have cost much, much more. We've seen GPT-4 simulate a whole town. Thousands of dollars in GPT-4 credits to run, but not every task needs the best top-of-the-line model to produce great results. And this is where something like Route LLM comes in. Right, so to begin, LLMs have demonstrated remarkable capabilities across a whole bunch of tasks, but there exists wide variations in their costs and capabilities, obviously, right? Something like Claude 3 Opus or GPT-4o, they're high on the performance scale, but guess what? They're also high on the cost scale. And so currently we kind of have a trade-off. Do we use the best, the brightest, the most expensive, or do we go for something cheaper, something faster, something that's not quite as capable? And that's the trade-off that we meet. But what if there was a better way? This leads to a dilemma when deploying LLMs in the real world, right? Again, if you're building out something to run your business, to help you do web research, whatever you're doing with these models, just routing all the queries to the largest, most capable model leads to the highest quality responses, sure, but can be very, very expensive. Again, some of these projects can blow through thousands of dollars because everything just relies on, let's say, GPT-4 or something like that, right? And of course, routing queries to the smaller models can save costs, but may result in lower quality responses, right? So GPT 3.5 is cheaper, but the quality isn't as good. It will fail some of the harder tasks, whereas running something locally is more or less free. I mean, you're paying for electricity, but it's almost negligible. It's very, very inexpensive. So that's the dilemma, and LLM routing the solution to this. You write in your query, and before that goes to a model, there's a system like a gatekeeper that first decides which LLM to route it to. You may recall Voyager, the project by NVIDIA, where GPT-4 plays in Minecraft and does really good at it. It learns new skills, creates code to interact with the world through an API, and goes on to explore, battle monsters, etc. This was, to me, one of the first examples of where they had a very clear and very smart distinction between where they use GPT-4 versus GPT, for example, 3.5, the cheaper, but in some cases less capable model. So notice here, this is the code that they're going to use for the AI agent to interact with the world. It's important that it works, and it's important that it works correctly. So not just the code executes like it has to run, but it also has to be the right code that does the right thing, or else, something bad happens. So for example, zombie, right? So you're fighting, right? So we get the best model to take a shot at GPT-4. But guess what? We also need kind of a library of these skills with descriptions, so that when we're looking for the correct skill, we can quickly read through the descriptions, find the right skill, pull it out of our library, and then use it. That description is just written in plain English, right, in natural language. It's not as important that it's 1000% correct, right? It's got to be good enough, right? We're not looking for Shakespeare level of writing. We're just looking for something that we can glance at and know what this thing does. So that's this program description, right? So it describes this function, combat zombie, and it just goes, yeah, function is about equipping a stone sword to combat a zombie. Pretty simple, but guess what? It's written by GPT 3.5. And that's fine. It's not going to screw up that task. It's good enough for that task, and much cheaper, much faster. So again, crucial code, we want GPT-4 to do it. Jotting down some notes about what this thing does, GPT 3.5 can do it, save us some money. And there are other examples of this being done, but usually you have a human being that did that in that example. They didn't use, as far as I know, they didn't use some sort of a advanced algorithm that sorts it. They just said, you know what, let's have GPT-4 for this and 3.5 for this. LLM routing has got this approach that tries to create a very effective system for doing exactly that. How to get the best possible result that we need for that specific task at the cheapest possible cost. We don't want the world-class brain surgeon to be changing the light bulbs, right? So all queries that can be handled by weaker models should be routed to those models, with all other queries routed to the stronger models, minimizing cost while maintaining response quality. Now here, it's not just cost, it's also speed. Speed can play a pretty big factor, as well as potentially, maybe if you don't need something like an Omni model where it can do voice in and out, where you can talk to it, understands kind of the inflections of your voice, and can also output voice with like all the proper emotional nuances, right? If you're asking it to generate a picture, for example, well, maybe skip that whole thing. You don't even need a text model necessarily, and maybe just go straight to the image model, although they don't talk about that here, but I feel like as this architecture gets developed, I feel like we're going to see more of that, and maybe even using things like Orbit 2, where it's these smaller models that are specifically trained for just the one thing that they're super good at, right? For example, if you need something that does like sentiment analysis, for example, there's an earnings call, there's a transcript, and you're like, hey, AI model, like how they sound, do they sound exhilarated, or are they depressed? Kind of like, just kind of read the room for me. How does it seem like it's going? It might be possible that you can have a fairly tiny model that is exceptionally good at doing just that. So that could be called for that specific scenario. But of course, there's an obvious problem. This turns out to be a challenging problem, this ability to route them to the correct model, because the routing system has to infer, it has to guess or understand both the characteristics of the incoming query and the different model's capabilities when routing. It has to know where to send each query. They're saying LLM routing offers a solution to this. Okay, so that's the challenging problem that we're facing. The solution is LLM routing. Now, if you really want to understand how it routes it, how it gets good at predicting where you need a strong model or where you could get away with using the weaker one, well, there's a lot of math involved. There's a lot of math and statistics. And in this case, they're just using binary classification. So either weak or strong. It's like, do we send it to the weaker model or the stronger model? So that's all that we're trying to figure out. Like, do we need the big guns for this one, or can we just hand this off to an intern over here? Which, by the way, this is kind of where the whole chatbot arena comes in, right? So chatbot arena, you've seen me use it on this channel. I'm sure you test it out yourself if you haven't. It's pretty interesting, pretty cool, because it gives you two different models randomly selected. You don't know which one's which, right? Kind of looks like this. You're able to do vision language models. You're able to do the other language models. You give it a prompt. If you're using vision models, you can add a random image or something from your desktop, whatever, and you can go multiple rounds and see which one's better. Then you vote. You only are told which model is which after you vote. So it's a blind test of which one do you prefer. And over time, they collect tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands at this point. So it looks like the total number of votes that they have for this arena is right now 1.4 million. So 500,000 users, 1.5 million votes of people just going through and seeing which model's better, which one's worse. And interestingly enough, they also keep track of the win rate of each model against each other model, right? So you have model A, model B. This one is just an example of, I believe this is probably a better image. So this is model A versus model B. So model A is the winner, model B is the loser. So you can see, like, for example, this one particular combination, right? You can see here and here, it's just when those two models meet, one wins 100% of the time. That's a bit of an anomaly. That might just be there's not a bullet for it or whatever. But the point is, even when you take the best models against the weaker models, the win rate isn't usually 100%. So using this data, we can zoom in and say, okay, where's the weaker model consistently winning, or maybe tying with the much bigger, more expensive model? So the people behind this, they're from Berkeley, Ainscale, a lot of UC Berkeley, also Canva, okay? But they trained 4 different routers using the public data from Chatbot Arena. And they've successfully demonstrated that they can significantly reduce the costs without compromising quality. And it looks like there's some pretty hefty cost reductions here. So cost reductions of over 85% on MT Bench, 45% on LMLU, and 35% on GSM 8K, as compared to just using GPT-4 for everything, right? Versus outsourcing it to the cheaper, faster models where appropriate, still achieving 95% of the GPT-4 only performance, which is interesting to think about. So if you look at the, let's take the highest cost reduction that you found of 85%. Like, can you imagine hiring somebody to do some project for you? Let's say it costs you $100,000, just to make numbers easy, right? That's the pro that's going to do it for $100,000. And this other company says, hey, we'll guarantee you results are 95% as good, but for $15,000, right? So a cost reduction of over 85%. Now, obviously, it really depends on what the project is, right? Sometimes you need it to be 100% accurate or as good as possible, at least. But again, you know, let's say something like this, like the description of these code snippets, right? It's okay if it's 95% as good as something that costs, what, 5 times more, right? Like, I'll take the 95% for that cost savings. And we love to see this, they're publicly releasing all code and data sets, including a new open source framework for serving and validating LLM routers. So potentially you can create your own for your own specific use cases. They can benchmark to see how much money you can save and what the quality drop off, what the trade-off is. So again, so they're talking about this as they refer to it as a binary decision. So either one or the other. It's either a stronger, more expensive model or a weaker, cheaper model. By the way, interestingly, I think this is what Apple is releasing. This is the Apple approach to where you're going to have an on-device model that is made by Apple, and then it's going to make calls to OpenAI for all the more complex tasks, right? So if you're like, what time is it, right? That's going to be the on-device model that's smart enough to answer you. Or if you're like, you know, putting your phone at some code you wrote and you're saying, look at this code and tell me, you know, troubleshoot it, what's wrong with it, or what does it do, right? Then it's going to connect the server to the cloud, and then GPT-4o or whatever model that is will answer your query. The OpenAI call might cost a little bit of money. The you know, what time is it now? That's going to be free. I'm just going to refer to it as free. It's basically a negligible cost, right? There's, I mean, some fraction of a penny. So it's close to zero unless you're doing this at some massive scale. If I remember correctly, like if you have a, you know, fairly beefy PC with like an NVIDIA card and you're like running it to play a game, I think I mean, obviously it depends, but it's something like 10 cents an hour in electricity. I believe that's the right number. So yeah, if you're running one of the bigger open source models locally on your PC, you're running 24 hours a day, you know, we're talking about a few bucks per day. So if you can outsource it, go half to your local model versus using something in the cloud that's proprietary from OpenAI or Anthropic. That half basically goes to zero, which is very exciting to think about. One thing that jumps out at me about this paper is that very last sentence or two in the abstract. They're talking about they've trained this model, this gatekeeper, this router that is able to route queries to either the strong model or the cheaper, weaker one. And they conclude at the end, they're saying, interestingly, our router model also demonstrates significant transfer learning capabilities, maintaining their performance even when the strong to weak models are changed at test time. This highlights the potential of these routers to provide a cost-effective yet high-performance solution for deploying LLMs. The reason that's interesting to think about is, think about how rapidly more and more of the stuff that we do, the science that we do, the tests that we conduct, use AI models. Not just general AI models, but specific AI models that we quickly spin up and train up and then use for that specific task. So here we're making an AI model, the goal of which is to figure out which other AI model or which of the two AI models to send a query to. How do we determine how good the answers are? Well, we use LM as a judge. We've heard this term before, so we're seeing it more and more in some of these AI research papers, and also even in various papers outside of AI research. We've seen some psychology papers that use LLMs as a judge to determine the quality of certain answers or responses. Right, so they're saying we explore obtaining preference labels on open-ended purpose chat domains using a LLM judge, as it has demonstrated a high correlation of human judgment. So what does that mean? It means, the people that go and chat arena and vote, right? They have two different prompts, two different answers by these models. They choose, I like this one better, I like this one better. Well, here they're using an LLM as a judge. I'm not sure what they use. Actually, they're saying right here they're using GPT-4. But what they found was that it demonstrates a high correlation with human judgment, right? So when we test a bunch of humans which answers they prefer, this GPT-4 as a judge, it also tends to prefer the same answers, right? So instead of trying to talk to 1,000 humans out there and pay them for their time, or try to get volunteers to judge these responses, are you tracking on? We also use an AI and LLM to judge those responses, which allows us to create a lot more responses or votes for the different types of responses for the data set, so that we're able to train the AI model on. So to summarize, how do we decide which of the two AI models to send the query to? Well, first of all, we have an AI model that is the judge that determines which of the models produces a good result versus bad result. And then we train another AI model that then learns how to decide which AI model is going to produce a better result in those scenarios. It's exciting because on one hand, it does seem like the more AI layers we add, the better things tend to work. Like there's no sign of stopping. It just works. It works well. Might be a little bit concerning because at some point, are we going to understand any of this stuff if it's just all the layers of AI brains talking and doing and deciding and judging the outputs and reflecting on the outputs and then coming up with ideas to make them better? I'll leave the link below if you want to try it out for yourself. So this is on GitHub. Installation does seem pretty straightforward. I guess what they use is GPT-4 as the strong model, and then for the weaker model, it looks like you can replace it with whatever model you want. They use Anyscale's Mixtral model here, an open source model, and then you set, it looks like, a cost threshold that controls the trade-off between cost and quality. So based on the type of quality you need, right, you might be a little bit more, set more preference to the better model. So you can set it to be basically like how much do you just save for it to be worth it. I haven't messed around with it yet, but if you want to see a tutorial about how to install it, how to use it, let me know in the comments. I am somewhat considering having a second channel where I just do this type of stuff because it's not for everybody. There's some people that don't really want to see the step-by-step troubleshooting of various open source software at GitHub, which I totally understand. But if you're interested, let me know in the comments. I am considering doing more of that, either on this channel at the end of the videos, or perhaps just having a separate channel for that. What do you think? What do you prefer? Leave me in the comments. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing. Make sure you have the notifications turned on. I feel like we're going to see some pretty big breakthroughs at kind of the intersection of science and AI sometime later this year. There are rumblings about where this whole thing is going. You don't want to miss out. My name is Wes Roth, and thank you for watching.
What's going on? Favorite food, lasagna. How is everybody doing? You know it, like a chimney. So icy. Nope, I ain't got them problems. I don't have those married men problems. I ain't got them problems. Nah. But how y'all doing? I'm 47. 47. English. Some good shit. Yeah, you're right. And marriage can be impossible. The older I get, the more I think. The older I get, the more I feel like I might just need to stay fucking single. Nah, not necessarily. I mean, love is good. It's just it's hard. Like it takes two. What kind of shit is you on, life? Oh, what's going on, Juice World? Talk to me. Talk to me nice. You talking nice already. Talk more nice. Juice World. I'm shirtless because it's hot in this motherfucker. That's why. I just got in the house. I just cut on the AC. The fuck you worried about it, bro? Shit. Nobody trying to flex on nobody. Juice World, 86 location. I look like I'm off of some fucking fence. You must be talking about the other boy. No dog food around this motherfucker. Shit. Got me all the way fucked up. No dog food around here. That's alright. Yeah, fucking cigarettes, man. Hold up, I gotta find my why do people come on people's lives and ask them to say specific words? I don't understand it. Yeah, smoking on YouTube, so what? Yeah, I ain't gonna say I quit, but I ain't smoking none. You got me? Man, life, I'm gonna let you get your little playtime. Thank you for the sub and the like. I'm gonna let life get his little playtime on. He got a lot to say. Yeah, I'm about to burn it up, Julio. About to blaze. I'll find my sticks. Oh yeah, I got some of this too. This should be good. Strawberry cheesecake. Is that official? Official. Check the content. This shit like 34%. Hey yo, Juice WRLD. I don't know what the fuck you and your brother, you and your sister on, but y'all might not want to be in here if y'all that goddamn young. This shit is not for motherfuckers under 18 now. I will. Yes, I will. I will stop smoking the devil's lettuce. Oh, the devil's lettuce. Oh, your sister's over 18? Oh, she can get it then. 18 to 80. Blind, crippled, and crazy. Well, my bench ain't all that strong. After I had my motorcycle accident, I broke the shoulder right here in half. But I used to have a pretty good bench. But my back, Them trucks right there, boy. I used to get on the bar. Motherfucking beast. Yo, I'm about to blade it, man. I gotta show you something though. I'm about to teach you something, nephew. Nephew Julio. Alright, check this. You see the key that's on the outside, right? Alright, so when you burn this, when you light it, all of that keef, it be dripping and going all out into the air. I want that shit in my lungs. So what you gotta do is, you can't use the raw wrap. You gotta use these 1.5s because they big. You're gonna wrap that in there. Give y'all a blunt tutorial one of these days. I'm tired of seeing motherfuckers online and roll the blunt and shit look like a fucking ET finger. Should be bent over like this, red on the inside, like ET about to phone home and shit. Alright, yeah, good night, life. Man, the kids be all over it playing right now. It's summertime. Y'all need to be outside. Y'all need to be outside. You need to be playing some video games or something. She was talking to the steamer. Alright, Julio. I'm so OG. I got one of these, the OG like who came with life off of regular shit. I've been smoking since I was 4. Wise. One good thing about getting older is if you get wise. Juice WRLD, I don't know what to think, man. You can't believe shit on the internet nowadays, especially with all this AI shit going on. Shit no more. Motherfuckers be thinking they talking to me, honor in the motherfucking shit. Yeah, man. Rihanna sent me a text message. Then she called me. Like, nigga, you think a billionaire gonna be calling your broke ass? Niggas don't think past common sense shit. Hell yeah. Fucking Rihanna sweat. everybody doing tonight? I'm working on some AI. What's good, Julio? Where you from, Julio? What part of the country? What's good? Fresno. That's what's up. Yo, I got I'm in North Carolina, so I'm like, I know what Fresno is. That ain't too far. That's like Bay Area, right? I'm in North Carolina, close to Charlotte. Oh, really? Damn, what part? Yo, wouldn't that shit be weird if you was like up the street or something? Be like, yo, burn one. Okay, what's the selling? That's what's up. That's what's up. It's about an hour and a half. Hour and a half from here. I like Winston-Salem. I'm trying to think. There's an event that I go to out there almost every year, but it's not in Winston-Salem. It's in Greensboro. The Aggie Eagle homecoming game. I've heard of Havelock, but I think I've heard of Hemlock. Yeah, it sounds familiar. Yo, I'm gonna test my new old mic. Got a USB microphone. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Aggie Fest, A&T, yo, that shit be live. Only thing better than the Aggie Fest is Black Bike Week in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The older Bike Week, before they made all of those laws and changed everything. That's in Winston-Salem, right? Cherry Point. I better slow the phone down. I only got one blunt left after this. Sit up and smoke all my shit. Cherry Point. I bet. that really does sound familiar. I worked on I did plumbing at Planet Fitness in Winston-Salem. So you have to go to the Planet Fitness gym in Winston-Salem. Just know I set the toilets and the goddamn commodes and I ran all the motherfucking plumbing in that bitch. You got the plug? I don't believe you, man. I don't... Man, you know, the plug, come on. I hear you. I hear you, nephew. I used to be that nigga now. I still got connection. Your plug might work for my plug. I'm telling you, I take you up on that. Yo, man, hit me up on the on my IG. Nomadic God King 369. Cause I've always thought I've had the lowest, you know, the best connections anywhere. But you know, it's times I've been proven wrong. There's so much bullshit going on now.